Aloha, everybody. This is Dave Wallace coming to you from my home here in Waihoa, Hawaii, and it's story time. This is Monday evening, the 18th of October, 2021, and I'd like to wish my sister Ziona Haole Lahanau happy birthday, sis. Love you. Okay, and she's up in Tennessee and with my other ohana up there. Okay, so Haole Lahanau, sis. Anyway, today I'd like to share with you what I've been doing over the last couple of months. And in a way, I appreciate the COVID striking us. And right now, we're kind of like limited on traveling. And so, what I decided to do during this time, last year, I spent the time writing a book. And this year, to keep myself from going crazy, I decided to get more training. And the reason why I felt I need training is that I've been doing remote viewing now for about 12 years. And I've become a specialist in associative remote viewing. And the purpose of associative remote viewing is making predictions on any type of event that you're interested in. It can be sports, it can be the rise and fall of commodities or any type of investment. It can help you make a decision, a yes or no decision on anything you want. So it's a very diverse skill, and if you become very skilled at making predictions, not only will you make more better decisions for yourself, but you can also help other people make better decisions. And in the applications that I use, if I make accurate decisions, I can make a living off of this. Okay. So over the past 12 years, I've been working and developing my skills. And what I learned over the years is, for remote viewing is actually a spin-off of my original natural ability, clairvoyant ability that I had since the time I was little. I could see hidden objects in boxes. Anything that I put my mind to, if you try to hide it from me, I would be able to describe it. Couldn't hide. So this is something that was inside me, and for a long time I learned to suppress it, and it wasn't until later on in adulthood when I realized that I needed to develop this skill. And like anything that's given to you naturally, if you don't practice it and you don't add discipline to this natural ability, you will either lose it or it doesn't have a firm grasp or link to you. And that's what was happening with my clairvoyance. It would come and go. I get prophetic dreams that come and go, and I don't know how to recognize if it's accurate or true or which ones to be concerned about. So it was kind of hit and miss. And then when I learned about remote viewing and what it entailed, and this is having the ability to look into the future and see what's happening and make sense of things, it provided a discipline. Okay, they have protocols that you need to follow. Step one, step two, their process. And so by following this process, I found that I could see anything, past, present, future, any place around the world, any situation. I could gather information. And this, but giving it a protocol, a process to follow, I could now use my clairvoyance on demand when I wanted. Okay, so that was a sweet thing about me learning how to remote view, and that is something that was really worth my while. In the process of learning remote viewing, I soon discovered that there were pukas, holes, in the things that I was doing because my accuracy level Again, like before, when dealing with a natural ability, it kind of like fluctuates. You're just like on a roller coaster ride. Some days, woo, yeah, really good. In fact, at one point in my stats, I was 100% accurate. You know, over the last 10 reads, I had 10 in a row. Boom. And I felt really good about myself. Then the bottom fell out. And just woo, went down, and I started doubting myself and what was going on, you know. And so I decided to look for training programs to understand what I was doing, and um, all geared at trying to improve my hit rate or my accuracy rate with remote viewing, associative remote viewing. Okay, and so I'm a professional associative remote viewer, and I get paid to predict the value of the Standard and Poor. We call it the SPY chart. Okay, and I think the ETF. Okay, and it's part of the stock market. So this is something that happens Monday through Friday, and so I get paid based on my accuracy on how much, how accurate I am in 25 reads. So that's what I've been doing since last year. So I'm getting paid for that. And I wanted to find a way where I can be more consistent in hitting my marks better so that I can, rise up in the ranks, because the more accurate I am, the more I can move up on a pay scale. And that would help in the finances. I'm retired, I have a set income, and so I'm looking for ways to improve my life. And this is the method that I feel I can take advantage of and use. Anyway, so in my search to find a way to make my remote viewing better, I decided to search and get trained in a variety of different things. I took a psychic improvement class. That was fun, but it didn't give me much insights into what I was doing as a remote viewer. And then I just completed a course in channeling. And when I first heard about channeling and the first description I got of channeling, it scared me. And I was hesitant to learn because another word for channeling is possession. Yeah, and for those of you religious people, religious folk who hear possession and automatically think about the Exorcist with your head spinning around. Okay, automatically and stuff is something. Whoa, stay away from, stay away from. Okay, and that's what some people associate channeling with, possession by spirits. Okay, and after reading more and more and deciding to let's see what's happening here, and I began to realize that what I was doing as a remote viewer, about 90%, anywhere from 85 to 90% of what I do as a remote viewer can be considered a form of channeling. The way I view channeling is that when a person channels, they are acting as an information stream. Okay, and as an information stream, I like to picture myself as a river, and my favorite river in the U.S. is the Mississippi. I was able to visit the Mississippi, the banks of the Mississippi in Nauvoo, Illinois. Okay, and I got to see the river. Anyway, this mighty river runs from the north to south of North America and empties into the Gulf of Mexico. But the Mississippi River is not one river. The river is, yeah, you have the main Mississippi, but to make this mighty river, you have all of these tributaries, these tiny streams that add itself. As the river flows, it adds more information to this main river. So the way I see myself as a channel, as a channeler, is that I'm something like the Mississippi River. I'm opening myself up to the flow of information that's available in nature. Okay? And nature is constantly trying to communicate with us in various ways. Give an example of stuff. Sailors have what? Red skies in the morning, whatever, okay? And it's a set of warnings that nature is giving you that the weather is going to be bad or the weather is going to be good, okay? So you take heed of what the environment is telling you. You see dark skies and clouds gathering, you know a storm is coming. So if you're going to be outside, take an umbrella, you know. So nature is always trying to communicate with us from different ways, okay? You got the nature spirits, and that's all obvious, yeah? But as a channel, the specific channel that we're talking about, and that I'm talking about, is channeling spiritual information that is being added to the flow of information from the spirit world, okay? And there's various sources, okay? And the first source of information that many people look at, and they call this necromancy, okay? It's communicating with dead people, okay? And now, when you're talking about dead people, you're talking about a wide variety of possible communications going on. The first level is your family, okay, and your family members, and this includes your immediate family, your grandparents, and all of the people that contributed to your DNA. Okay, those are your direct ancestors back to the beginning of time. And literally talking about thousands of people that made you who you are right now. Okay, thousands of people. And if you believe in Adam and Eve being the original people on earth, and we all came from two people, then basically all of us living human beings are related. So even the people that are passed on that we never seen before, never approached, they're part of our ohana already. So any of these deceased people that lived in this world, okay, could qualify as a family member. Okay. Now, why is family communication is important? Well, the closer these relatives are to you, okay, the more concern they have over your welfare. Okay. I know after my mom died and stuff, and I wanted to be a kahu, and I was thinking about being a kahu. My concerned mom, who passed away, came into my room and was all nuha with me. She was marching back and forth, and she was really angry that I decided that I wanted to become a kahu. It's because she didn't understand what a kahu was. She thought a kahuna was short. She thought a kahu was a short word for kahuna, and she didn't want me to be a kahuna. And I kept on saying, that's not what a kahu is. A kahu is a basic servant, okay? Is a caretaker and a guardian of something, okay? And what am I a caretaker of? I'm a teacher. I have a body of knowledge that was given to me, that was entrusted to me by my ancestors, and this is what I am responsible for. That's my responsibility, to teach other people. And that's where Haki is, and that's my main responsibility. And all of these things and stuff all played into that. Okay, so um, your parents, grandparents, they're the ones that are your brothers and sisters. They're the ones that are really concerned about you. They want to see you happy. They want to see you doing the right thing, and they can appear anytime to you to try and influence you. Okay. And so for Hawaiians and stuff, they see their connection with their ancestor more important than the major gods. The major gods will take care of the environment, the different parts of the world. But when it comes to their own personal care and stuff, the important ones to take care of is your ancestors, your amako, okay? Because they're the ones that are with you and covering your back and watching you at all times. So that's one level of dead people. And when I cannot see, if I open myself up to talk to my grandpa, my two grandpas or my two grandmas or my great grandparents and stuff like that, I cannot see them advising me to do something evil, because they were not that kind of people. They're good people. And the same thing with my parents and stuff. You know, I cannot see them trying to influence me to do something evil or something bad. And so the communication that happens with them is normally out of love. I understand where my mom was coming from. Okay. And we were able to resolve this over time. I've proven to her over time that I'm not a kahuna mom. Okay, I'm a teacher. Okay, and she's happy with that. So that's how communication, and so communicating with your ancestors. Sometimes when you're communicating with ancestors, you would want to call a ancestor that had a special skill. For example, for me, the work that I do as a remote viewer is actually a work of a kaula, or a seer or prophet. And this is a job that was given to a kaula in ancient times. And so the kaula would make predictions, and that would be either accurate or inaccurate. And if you're accurate, you continue to work with the LEE. If you are not accurate, you have to run away and hide. So, because I am looking to improve my work as a kaula and a remote viewer, the ancestor that I would ask to help me at this time would be a kaula himself in my line. Okay, so I put out a call to any kaula that can help me with what I'm doing in a remote viewing, that deals with pictures, that deals with numbers, to step forward and help me. Okay, and to help me, I make space in my personal space for them, and treat them like my partner. I view them like a ride along in my police car. Okay, when I used to be a policeman, in some of my in some of the departments that I had a partner that I rode along with and stuff. Sometimes I would be driving, sometimes he would be driving, and we'd be going, along each other. So that's how I see and view this connection that I make with an ancestor who wants to help me or I'm asking to help me. and any other entity that I call upon to help me that way. So I picture them like a partner, okay? And they share space with me, but they're not possessing my body. I do not allow them to enter my body. They're free to hang out in my space. They can whisper in my ear. They can impress me with thoughts. They can talk to me if they want. They can show me pictures in my mind. Um, they can show me signs in nature. Okay. And I need to learn how to communicate, how they communicate best with me. And they need to learn how to communicate with me too, so we understand each other. Sometimes the language can get in the way. Okay, and it's good that I understand rudimentary Hawaiian once in a while, especially when I'm talking with Hawaiian ancestors. And it's really interesting that sometimes I'm also met with my Celtic relatives who are Druids, and I've seen them a lot and stuff, or painted in, covered in white, and walking with staffs, and you know, wearing antlers and things like that. So these are all ancestors of mine that willing to help me with what I'm doing right now. So Ohana is one. Another form of Ohana is the people that are not contributors of our direct lineage, and they're something like the uncles, granduncles, and stuff like that. So they have your blood, but they're not part of your direct line. And those people also love you and want to see you do well. Okay? So they are also accessible. They can be, this is another estuary or a tributary, okay, that can flow energy into your stream. So those are relatives, okay. Beyond the relatives, you have people that are strangers. A lot of times, these people, the way I come into contact with these strangers that are not familiar with me, um, is when I get a phone call from a client who wants me to contact someone that they're related to. And sometimes the contact is clear, sometimes I cannot. And if cannot, you know. Other times, a connection is made through the back door, through an intermediary. Sometimes a contact is made through my ohana, okay, who's willing to help. And so, again, what stream will you get the information from? And beyond that and stuff, you have other entities that you can channel information from. And these are spirit entities that were never born. And these spirit entities that were never born include angels. And angels function under the law of free will, yeah. And so they can advise you and guide you, but they cannot intervene and make um, life-changing interventions for you. They have to follow specific rules. Then the other unborn are can be demons, and there's also neutral spirits out there. Okay, and that are part of the universal whole. Sometimes they come in a form of light beings that never receive the body, and they're different. Angels and demons sometimes have forms. You can see them kind of like human forms, but the ones that are not really born and not part of that realm, there's kind of like a just an energy presence there. Okay, And when they're present, they're pretty neutral. Okay, and they have no feelings one way or another. Okay, so these are just some examples of these streams of energies that you can gather information from as a channeler, and you running down a stream and getting the flow of information from. Okay, and the most interesting um, being that I was able to meet through my channeling activities was there's a bunch of things that you can draw from yourself. And one of the things that you can draw from yourself is your higher self or your lower self. And there's all different versions of you within you that you can draw upon. But the higher self is your ideal self. And if you can picture yourself as the most perfect being ever, this is what you are. You're full of light, you're full of goodness, and all the good that you ever wished on. That's what I see as the higher self, or a version of your higher self. In an exercise that I did during this class, uh, I had a wake up call on the version of a higher self that was revealed to me after going through the process, the clearing process, grounding process, and visualization, and going to a place to extract my higher self. What I pulled out was an 8-year-old boy. It was me when I was 8 years old, and it shocked me. I expected this wise man, a few years older than me, and stuff like that, um, filled with light and brightness and more angelic and stuff. But no, it was a little boy. That was my higher self. And when he stepped out, it kind of like shocked me. And I says, what can I learn from this little boy? And knowing that it was me, I hugged him, and I says, "Wow, wow, you know, I'm surprised." And he looked at me, kind of like smiling and stuff. And when I looked into his eye, I kind of like tearing up, because I remember when I was 8 years old, and it was probably one of the best times in my life, as far as um, my life was filled with dreams that I had eventually lost. Okay, there were hopes and optimism. I liked to play. I was daring, and I was fearless at 8 years old. And I realized I needed to be an 8-year-old boy again to obtain my higher self, to be the better version of myself. That was eye-opening, because I know at times I take myself too serious, and I know at times I the zest for life is gone. And this little child, I mean, when I took him in my backyard, he saw the lychee trees that we had with all the branches and stuff like that. I saw this little boy climbing up among the trees, jumping from tree to tree, and it reminded me when I was an 8-year-old kid, I used to do the same thing with a grove of eucalyptus trees that surrounded Molokai High School, that our house was right next to. I used to climb up on those trees and run around them like a monkey. Okay, and I used to jump from one tree branch to the next. And anybody watching me, they would have a heart attack. And yes, I did fall a couple times from that, but I was landed on a bunch of branches, broke my fall and stuff, and after catching my breath, I went right back up and started doing the same thing. So fearless, yeah. And every life was fun, you know. And so these are some things that missing from my life that I need to restore. So coming away from my experience with my higher self and realizing, what some of the subtle changes that I made to make and stuff. Uh, I try and find ways every day to uh, to laugh at myself and to crack jokes with my wife, okay, and have her laughing and fun and just taking life lighter and being happy, okay, happy with what we got. And and sometimes when we trying to manifest goals and we see the goal ahead of us and we're shooting for that goal and stuff, how can we obtain that goal if we don't appreciate what we have now? That makes no sense. Okay, so meeting my 8-year-old self as my higher self really opened up my mind, and these are the types of channeling information that leads to personal development and awakening in everyone. And if you can do that for yourself, to look for your higher self and accept your higher self for whatever age it comes out. And for some of you, it may be a little boy. For some of you, it may be you as a teenager. Oh boy. Okay. So um, that's what really changed my life with this training and why I was so happy with the results. Okay. So um, as a channel, and so if I accept the responsibility of channeling, and I am very careful with the beings that I communicate with, and I'm very aware the difference between a being of light and a being of darkness and how to avoid them. Okay, and so it's a good experience and eye-opening and very, very worthwhile. So if you're interested in developing your spiritual connection and stuff, I strongly recommend that you look into channeling. Again, picture all of these training sessions that you have as a big, um, you know, all you can eat buffet. Okay? And for me, when I go through a buffet, I'm not going to eat every food, right? I pick what I like and what agrees to me. And there's part of the things that we were learning that I will never incorporate into my own practice. And however, there are some very valuable information out there that in this course that I enjoy incorporating and using, and hopefully it will lead to a better um, readings that I can make on the lottery and on making predictions with the Standard and Poor. Anyway, so thank you for listening, and for those of you who are still waiting for my lottery predictions, I'll be posting the lottery predictions probably beginning next week. Okay, the Powerball is getting up there. As soon as it reaches 100 million, I will start posting again. Okay, but until then, hopefully I'll be able to share some more stories with you folks. Okay. Anyway, this is Dave Wallace coming from Waihoa, Hawaii, and wishing you all a very safe time and mahalo for tuning in. And until next time, aloha.